everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Plotty Time. We're here, myself, Poppascotch, and I've got Chump Slap.
Hey.
And we're going to talk about the super fucking cool movie, Postal. So fucking buckle up.
That one egg was 40 eggs?
That's a big fucking pile of garbage.
I'm the farting demon in this relationship.
I'd be an awesome rich person.
You're both just an embarrassment.
God, I'm awesome.
We're talking Tom Hanks and his vehicle.
Yeah, I had my finger in my mouth waiting for you to finish.
You gotta get 4 balls or something?
Dick piercing?
No, you know damn well fucking that demon is still sexy.
How could that be close and not be
Yeah,
right?
just kill some random dude.
If you want cheese, you get a milk.
You're waiting for me.
No, I can hang on it. It sucked. Boners.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Like I said, special episode of Plotty Time where we're talking about the movie Postal. Man, this is a movie. This is not the first time we've talked about the director Uwe Boll.
No.
Uwe? I think that's how you say it. I'm pretty sure.
He says it, Uwe, in the movie,
Uwe?
so.
Okay. That's right, because he's in this movie as himself.
Oh.
Which, holy shit, we will get to, because, like, I've never seen this movie. By this point, I had seen a couple of Uwe Boll's films, so I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
So I remember specifically skipping this in 2007. I'm sure, were you in the theater for day one? Is that how it worked?
Oh, yeah. I saw this like day 1, 2, 3.
You just kept going back?
All week, man.
Man, this movie, the quick summary. In the ironically named city of Paradise, a loser teams up with his cult-leading uncle to steal a particular bounty of riches from their local amusement park. The recently arrived Taliban have a similar focus, but a far more sinister intent. Now, I also want to stress, this movie came out in 2007.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people were cool with 9/11 jokes 6 years after the fact.
No, and this movie starts with a pretty bad one.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Okay.
Let's get the conversation started. I have opinions. I have a lot of opinions on this movie, so you might have to reel me in here.
I don't. Let's see. Oh, the movie starts with 2 9/11 hijackers talking about how many virgins they're going to get when they die.
Yep. What? Like, it's always the virgins.
Yeah.
Like, whenever someone makes the cartoon terrorist villain, it's always the virgins.
Yeah. Are they not promised anything else?
I think there's more to the religion than just the virgins after death. And I think that's like not even a widespread thing. That's like a sect that says that.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine it's all of them think that. But whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to try not to stop after every fucking fact about, yeah. Anyway, what happens after that?
Well, they argue over the number of virgins. They call Osama bin Laden, and he tells them he can only guarantee them like 20 virgins. And then they decide, well, screw that. They're going to go to the Bahamas instead. But the passengers overtake the cockpit and fly the plane into the World Trade Center.
Yeah, so apparently this was supposed to be one of the World Trade Center planes that was about to just send everyone to the Bahamas, but instead the angry Americans caused it. It was pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a joke.
I mean, it's a... I hate giving this guy credit, but to give him some credit, the attempts at humor were very ballsy, and a big fucking butt here. I don't know why any of this was it. Like, I don't understand what the joke is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, the beginning part, it does make sense, you know. I could see it being, you know, super ironic or satire or something crazy like that. But, like, this has nothing to do with the whole rest of the movie. This is just...
No, why is it in there?
This is just to be offensive. Like, it's not saying anything clever or fun.
It's just poking fun at the Taliban?
It's poking fun at them. It is, I mean, it's just satire. It's offensiveness with absolutely no other meaning behind it. You can be offensive. Like, that's fine.
Right.
But you should be leading to a joke or pointing out something, and this is just a silly skit.
Yeah. It felt like one of those like movie 43 or whatever. It was just a bunch of skits.
Yeah, like a vignette type thing where it's just random stories.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this first part, it was offensive for no reason, and it really didn't have any effect on the movie at all.
No. Nope.
No, I don't know why, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Let's get past it.
After this, that scene that doesn't matter, we end up at the Paradise Winds trailer park, where we
Right.
meet our main character, who is just credited as Dude.
Yeah, they call him Postal, dude.
Yeah, and this is Zach Ward is playing this character. And I before we get to the moments, I want to say there were 3 moments of laughter I had in this movie.
Oh, yeah?
And I'll talk about them when we get to them. There were 3 times I laughed, and I'm pretty sure 2 of them were completely by mistake.
Nice.
So Zach Ward plays a dude. He's in a trailer. His wife seems like fucking awful. She's like she's not just a terrible person who like doesn't give a shit about him, just yells at him to go get the welfare check, get a job, work so I can stay in bed all day. But she's massively overweight, and I think that's supposed to be funny. I think
it's just showing that his life is terrible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he lives in a trailer. He doesn't have a job. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to support his family.
Yeah, and she's just supposed to be like a comically obese lady who just sits in a trailer.
And just gets banged by the neighbors all day.
Yeah.
Because that comes into play too. But after that, like, this is also one of those movies that has like a billion scenes in it and feels like it's 7 hours long. This felt forever.
Yeah, it did.
And it was 2 hours. And I've talked about that before, where it's just way too many short scenes in a row that it feels longer. But in the next scene, we just jump to a guy who's running for office, apparently played by J.K. Simmons,
Yeah.
who's like,
Great.
did he win an Oscar? I think he might have for Whiplash, or he's been nominated. Like, he's a real actor.
Yeah, they have some good actors in here.
Yeah, I'm fucking blown away by that. But he's like this guy who's standing on a corner, just like running for office, but screaming like wild shit. Like,
yeah.
there's a bunch of child porn in the Pentagon. And I just thought to myself, like, this
was
probably sounded crazy back then.
Yeah.
You know? This is just politics now. But back then, like, it was a joke. It's hard to, like, look at it at that lens again now. But
Yeah.
I could see myself at back in the day being like, who is this fucking psycho? And having fun with J.K. Simmons in it.
Yeah, that was probably funny at a time. It wasn't.
It wasn't terrifyingly prophetic, you know?
Exactly. It's just the news now.
Dude, if Uwe Boll would have hit on like 2 of these prophetic politics things, I might give this guy a lot more credit, because I think this was an accident. But
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
outside, he's on the corner talking about this stuff, and then we go inside and we meet the shop owner named Habib, and he goes in. It's just like a bodega, corner store, whatever.
Right.
He goes walking to the back of the shop, and he opens a door, and there's this huge Taliban hideout in the back of the shop.
Yeah, just one door away from the shop.
Yeah, just like one little door, and it's this huge, beautiful room with like pool tables, and everyone's smoking cigars in the Taliban. They're all just like chilling,
having a good time.
just relaxing, man. Just waiting to like move forward with the plan. And they just talk about that and how they're going to finally, stick it to the infidels or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever generic thing you could, not you, Chump Slap, but the listener could possibly think of, a generic terrorist scene about how they're going to get the infidels. That's what this was. That's exactly what this was.
It was, but it was in like a gentleman's club.
Yeah, it was an interesting way of, I don't know, humanizing the Taliban? I don't
know, just making it fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what happens? He goes to the interview.
He goes to a job interview at Glutco.
Good name. I wonder if that was from the game. Neither of us played the game, so we
Yeah,
don't.
exactly. I don't know what any of this is from the game. I'm sure it's all just full of nods to the game, if not what the actual game is.
Yeah, he says something at the end. I don't know if I wrote it down, but he says the catchphrase at the end, and apparently that's where the fans lost their mind.
Okay.
Maybe if we get there, I'll remember it. But
yeah, but this was, I actually have written down here. When he goes to sit in a broken chair, this I actually laughed at.
oh yeah, that was pretty good. I also want to, again, I'm pausing, I'm sorry, but I think Zach Ward really fucking tried. Like,
Yeah,
I
he does a
really
good job.
I think that every time I looked at Zach Ward and was like, oh, that was a bad line, or oh, that was a bad delivery, like, that's the director's fault. Like, there are moments where he is genuinely charming and fun to be around, but he has, like, there's some line deliveries that are, like, super flat, and I was just thinking, like, shit, that's the best take they got. Like, it's your job as a director to get the performance out, and I guess Uwe Boll either did that half the time, or Zach Ward came through and did it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Despite him, but I'm not gonna shit on, well, maybe 1 or 2 of the actors, but none of the mains. I think they all did their best.
Yeah, they did a good job. I mean, they did a job with what they had.
They got paid to come in and act, and they did it. And I really feel like most of the mains, if not all of them, like they made the effort.
Yeah.
So I can't fault them for that. But after this chair thing, this is a weird interview.
It's fucking so good. I love the when she's like, "What is the difference between a duck?"
There's just a pause, and he's like, "And." The only criticism I have of this is I think this scene could have been a little longer. I think that like Zach Ward escalated too fast. Like he went too fast to being like, what the fuck is going on, to like blowing up at him.
Yeah, because they only got like 3-4 questions in. They could have made this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like there could have been a build.
Right.
But they were too eager to get to the fact where he stands in front of the company and sings the company song, which was not funny. This is a
No, that was just terrible too.
lot of confusing directorial choices.
Right, exactly.
It's almost like this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, maybe he does.
Maybe in 20 years, like it'll make more sense and everyone will get it. And this is just all the movies now.
Oh yeah, that's probably the way the world's going.
Fuck.
Yeah. But then we go to a different scene with Dave Foley.
God bless him. Definitely my favorite part of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Kids in the Hall alum is the head of the denomination of organic monotheism.
Or Doom for short.
It's fucking, like, it's fun. He's this cult leader who is clearly just starting a sex cult to exploit people.
He's just a scam artist.
That's all he even said it. Like, he said it to Zach Ward, who is his nephew.
Right.
He said, do you remember when we talked about this whole scam? Yep, now I'm doing it. Living a great life where he's just in a bed with 4 naked women at all times.
I love when he's like, remember the scheme to steal the flag? He's like, yeah, we did it twice. And he's like, yeah, I went to jail the second time.
I love how, well, first of all, we can't really get past this scene without talking about the hog shot, because there's clear hog from Mr. Foley. And then
that was his stipulation in taking the job.
I guess so.
It's like, you got to show my dick.
Have to hang dong. That's part of this. But they're apparently a doomsday cult. Well, okay, sorry. Let me take a step back. But the guy Richard, who's like got number 2 guy to Dave Foley.
Right.
He comes in. He's like, "Hey, we have not paid our taxes in 3 years. We owe 1.3 million, or this whole thing is going to come crashing down." And I love his line where he's like, "Well, this was a doomsday cult, so we didn't think taxes were a great investment," which I thought was that was pretty funny. I should give them credit. Okay, maybe 4 parts.
Yeah, I'm like, looking back, there were a couple things that are funny. I might have just been angry when I was watching it.
Oh, there was a lot of that. I will talk about when we get to the parts, so I think it's funny. But then we get into another scene that has I'm just confused about all of this.
Why are these people even in the movie? They're in a lot, though.
They're in a lot. It's 2 cops, and they're at an intersection, and there's a woman in front of them who won't move, and he's getting mad, so he gets up, and he goes to walk over to the car, and he's like, "The light's green, like, go." Like, the light's green, and she looks confused or is looking around or whatever, and he takes out a shotgun and blows her away.
Right.
And then walks back to the car, and the other cop's like, "What was that?" And he's like, "Oh, she called me the N-word." And then that's it. That's the scene. That's the whole scene.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it was National Lampoony, man. Like,
yeah, I think it was definitely trying to say something about, American police and how radicalized they are, but I don't think that got across very well.
It was trying to be funny too, but
yeah, again though, it could have been funnier if like there was better altercation between them and the driver. Like we could have milked this for like 10 jokes.
No, but it had to be a 15-second scene, right?
Yeah, to make the movie feel even longer.
Yes. Yeah, so now you see this scene, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I am, because like there was the weird scene, and then there was the dude at his house, the dude at the interview, the dude with Dave Foley. I'm like, okay, now we're getting into like a flow of a story here. Okay.
Yeah.
This makes more sense. And then we have this cop scene, and then we go back to the dude, and he is at a coffee shop just waiting to order his coffee.
Yeah, just getting annoyed by some guy.
Some indecisive guy who won't pick something. And then a misdirection happens where you think Zach Ward's going to snap and like beat him to death or something. And the server freaks out and just gives him like 2 lattes, no foam, and says, "Fuck off."
Yeah, that's it. And then he sees the server. He's like, oh my God.
Yeah, he like falls in love. This is the love interest of the story that is not developed at all by the time this thing wraps up.
No, it doesn't.
But there was a thing of note where there was this woman who was kind of all over these two Middle Eastern men. And I don't know what was going on with Abdul, but he was walking him around like he was a pet. Like it was really weird.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I think he's supposed to be like developmentally disabled.
Yeah, I think so.
But they treated him like a pet. It was pretty fucked up. But not like funny fucked up. It was just...
No, it's just weird to be weird.
And then this is the next scene where he goes back to Uncle Dave, or we continue with Uncle... I guess he went back.
Yeah, well, the first scene, he wasn't there yet, I guess.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That now he's visiting his Uncle Dave.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, well, this is all a scam. It's all a con. And he's like, dude, if you... I got something brewing. If you want some money, like, you can get in on this. I need someone I trust. You're my nephew. Like, do you want in on it? And he's like... I don't know, like, it's last time I was in jail, like, this is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he was very non-committal. He's like, I do need the money, but he says, like, I got to think about whatever.
Right.
And then there's the shootout at the welfare office.
Right, because he's going to get his welfare check.
Yeah, and then he comes home to his, there's just a shootout there for, again, I don't know why that happened, but.
Just to, I don't know, just to be violent.
This one felt National Lampoony, where something crazy's happening in a normally extremely boring place.
Yeah.
Because he like just goes up to the counter and they kind of like pop back up and process his check and stuff. I could see that, but...
Yeah, but they never do process his check. They're like
No,
25 and then he gets up there and they're like, yeah, we're closed.
That's right. That's right. And then he heads home and what does he find there, Sir Chump Slap? 'Cause you got to
He
tell me.
finds his wife and his really ugly cowboy hick neighbor. They're going at it with a bag of flour because they had to make that joke.
I didn't even get it, like, as a joke. Is it a fat joke?
Yeah.
Huh.
You know, I don't know, roll her up in flour.
Maybe I'm just not smart enough to get Uwe Boll films.
I think that might be it.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't understand the subtlety.
Yeah, you have to think like a really edgy 6-year-old.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So he goes, he sees this, and he's like, that's it, I'm out of here. So he goes and calls his Uncle Dave again, and he's asking for money now. Because he's like, I do need money. I want to get money and get the hell out of this town.
God bless him. He's like, fuck this. This all sucks. I'm not dealing with it. I'm out.
Right. And here's where he gets mugged at the payphone.
Yeah, he gets mugged at the payphone. I'm trying to figure, and that was played by Michael Paré.
I don't know who that was.
Paré. He was a guy who was one of these actors who was a star in the 80s, was on TV, was kind of a big name, and then just kind of rode that the rest of his career. He does like a lot of bit parts, a lot of those straight-to-video action movie things, you know.
Oh, okay.
He's been working solidly since like the 70s. He was in that, his first movie was that Streets of Fire movie with Willem Dafoe.
Right.
He was the good guy.
Yeah, he just struck me as like an 80s cop movie television show guy.
I could see this in Uwe Boll's head right now. This was his attempt to like do the Travolta thing that Quentin Tarantino did and resurrect his career. But he didn't give him anything to do. So
yeah, he's like, here, you're going to mug this guy and then get shot with your own gun.
yeah. And then he's like, all right, I'm in on Dave's plan. Now he's definitely sure.
Right.
And then again, like, we cut to the storyline because we're getting a storyline about the Taliban that's local.
Right.
Whether we want it or not.
And yeah, I don't fucking know.
It's Osama bin Laden filming one of his famous videos, and he's like, oh, God, no one wants to die unless they get the virgins.
Oh, yeah, have to make that joke again.
Yeah, and he's basically lamenting how it's so difficult to get people to die for his cause.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if we're supposed to be sympathetic to him or what, but Osama bin Laden was very much alive at this point. Let's not forget that.
Was he?
Oh, yeah.
When did he die?
Oh, I think 2012, when The Rock broke the news for some reason. Remember that? That was weird.
No, I do not.
Oh, 2011. He was dead. Yeah, you don't remember that? Like, right before the news came out, like 2 hours or 3 hours before, The Rock went on like Twitter and said something along the lines of like, oh man, we got really big news coming for America real soon. And everyone was like, how the fuck did he find out? And why was he okay with tweeting it?
Yeah. Why did was he told to tweet it?
If so, that is weird as hell if he was.
We'll never know, man.
Holy shit, Osama bin Laden was 6'5"?
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Size 15 shoe.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Sideshow Bob feet.
It's like clown shoes. And then we get back to Uncle Dave and the dude are talking about the heist plan. And okay, this is the first moment I thought was genuinely funny.
Okay.
It was when they were talking to each other. And this is the thing. I am pretty sure that this was improv. Like that Uwe Boll just let them talk because, I mean, Dave Foley is a professional comedian. He's fucking great. He can improv. He's done it.
Yeah,
so
true.
that scene where they're talking about how much money it is and they're both trying to do the math and figure out how to do like 5th grade math was funny. Like the two of them together trying to fart their way through that. I thought they were both great. I thought that was a great scene. I mean, it only lasted 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was good. It's like, well, it sold for $4,000 and you got 2,000 of them.
Yeah, and they're like, wait, so
that's a shitload of money.
So that's, and they're like, no, you moved the decimal. And it's just like all this shit you remember vaguely from 6th grade or 5th grade. And it's like, it was funny. It was good. But this is where the whole plan comes in. They're breaking into a factory, the amusement park thing, and they're stealing these expensive dolls that are selling for like $4,000 each. And they plan on selling them.
Right. Crotchy dolls.
Crotchy dolls, because they look like a dick and balls.
Exactly.
You get it? You get it, listeners?
Well, that's from the game.
Funny. Is it?
It has to be.
Okay. Yep, it is. I believe you. I'm going all in on this. And then we get back to J.K. Simmons again, talking some more, actual truth on the street corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then his whole like political plan is he calls it the FU plan. And Habib goes out and he's like, you got to get out of here. And he's like, I'm with the FU party. And he goes, hey, fuck you. And then J.K. Simmons is like, that's what I'm talking about. This guy gets it.
Yeah.
And then the dudes in the back, the Taliban holler, are like, you dude, this guy is too loud. He's getting too much fucking attention. We need him gone. So, of course, they send out a suicide bomber and blow up J.K. Simmons on the street.
Exactly. You have to. It's the Taliban. Get it?
Yeah, it's really gnarly. It wasn't funny. It was gross, but they didn't show it. They showed it from the inside, like blood and nasty shit hitting the wall.
Yeah, that looked pretty neat, actually.
That was a good effect. And then I guess that the joke is that Habib, and I think that's his daughter helping him run the store. I put that together because they talked a couple times.
Yes.
But they just, I guess part of the joke is they're just like so blasé about the whole thing. Like, ugh.
I feel like now we got to clean the windows.
Yeah, they don't give a shit that 2 people just died outside the store. They're just like, yep.
Nobody cares.
No one cares about any of these deaths, apparently. And then the scene where this dude tries to steal the truck.
Oh, yes.
The
they need a truck to take the shipment of crotchy dolls.
And I was so confused because this was a scene where he tried to get under the fence, couldn't do it. Tried to get over it, couldn't do it. So then he moves this panhandler who's essentially a vegetable in one of those automatic wheelchairs, those electric ones.
Right.
Moves him to the fence, steps on him, gets over the top. And I think that's supposed to be a joke.
Yes.
Okay.
It's supposed to be offensive that he's using a disabled man?
Yeah, again, but it's offensive for a joke that, I don't know, I don't think it was worth it.
No.
Like, oh, you're offensive. Where are you going with this? Oh, just there? That's the only place you're going? Okay.
Well, they go a little further when the cop shows up and takes all the money.
Yeah, and then we get introduced to this scam he's got going on.
Yeah.
Which I think we should have just edited the cops out of this movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's really no purpose in them being anywhere.
No, but the cop who shot the woman at the intersection, he's running a scam where he basically walks up, takes all the panhandlers. He basically leaves this man in a corner with like a hat and just collects all the money. And he leaves him in the garage overnight with like a fucking blanket on top of his head.
Yeah, it's like a horse blanket, it looks like.
Yeah, it's fucking, I don't know what this is or what this is trying to be or anything.
Oh, it's a guy that he tells the story later.
He does, and it's fucking dumb.
It sure is.
And just like mean. I don't know, but back at the Dave's fuck compound, they make this little model. They're going over the plan. And I just love the moment where he says, I forget exactly what the context was, but Richie says something and then goes, yeah, it's in the Bible. And then Zach Ward just turns to his uncle. He's like, you wrote a fucking Bible for these people?
Yeah.
That was funny. That was a good line.
That was all right.
And then we get the beginning the beginning of this relationship where George Bush calls Osama bin Laden, and I guess 9/11 was an inside job all along. They're working together, or they're BFFs.
They're just best friends. Yeah, it's about the oil companies. I think they say something about that here.
Probably.
He's like, we need you to blow up some oil refineries.
Yeah, it was just establishing that they're best buds and they can lean on each other for help.
Exactly.
And I guess 9/11 was an inside job. I'm already exhausted. Not even know if we're halfway through.
No.
But then, okay.
Oh, yeah, here we go to Little Germany.
Yeah, you go ahead. You take this. I need to take a drink.
All right. So now we go to a place called Little Germany, which if you notice the sign, it was painted over Little Poland.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, did you notice that?
I didn't. I missed that.
And there's a Good Morning America show being filmed here, and they're interviewing Uwe Boll.
As himself.
As
wearing
himself, yes.
Lederhosen.
Yeah, just being German as shit.
I'm so fucking confused.
Well, he is German, right?
He is German. I mean, I understand that connection,
Okay.
but I don't understand why he felt he needed to insert himself in this film just to talk about bad jokes. Like, I think I understand what he was trying to do. Like, honestly, I think this comes down to a cultural misunderstanding of humor. Like, I think he was German, and because his movies weren't great, people called him this shitty Nazi, and he's like, oh yeah, totally. I'm totally a Nazi. I think that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, because he says something about his movies being budgeted with Nazi gold and shit.
Yeah, like, I think that's what he, like, was poking fun at the critics who said that.
Right.
But like, his delivery was so dry, and like, you know, he is an ESL guy, English isn't his first language, and it just came off as a confession. Like, it was fucked up.
Yeah. And then he tries to make another terrible joke where he's like,
Which one was this?
being on stage here, I'm just so horny with all these children around.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
Dude, yeah. I was like, really? What the fuck?
Yeah, again, he's trying to be funny and like a shock comic, and it just comes out as being, wait, does Uwe Boll
Yeah,
really-
does he really?
Yeah, if you're trying to make a comedy and you're trying to be outlandish and you're trying to like go to the extremes to get that laugh, the end of that joke has to be clearly a joke.
Yeah, you have to deliver the punchline.
Exactly. But if you're just going to say like, I'm a Nazi and these kids, and it's just, it's bad look.
Yeah, it should have definitely been delivered better. Sorry, Uwe.
Yeah.
You
And then
suck.
this is where we cut to the cops who are also there for no discernible reason.
They're just enjoying the coffee because there's a coffee lady there.
Oh yeah,
happens to
she's
be
also
there.
there. Like,
Everyone's there.
this is the dumbest reason to get all our characters to come to one place.
It's what was the reason to release the crotchy dolls? The only shipment.
Yeah, the only shipment. And then everyone we got the backstory of the cops that Harry was riding his bike or walking, or he was driving his bike. He almost hit the cop's dog, and then the cop, did he hit him with his car or something?
Yeah, he hit him with a car, and then he flew off his bike and broke his neck.
And now he just, I guess, takes care of them in the loosest way and exploits him for money, which
Yeah.
I guess is funny.
I guess that's supposed to be funny too, yeah.
And then this is where Dave and the dude show up to start enacting their plan.
Uh-huh.
And the biggest part of the plan, they would argue the most important, is they have to set up a diversion.
Exactly.
And then we have their diversion is the women from the smoking hot women from the cult dress up as sexy Nazis.
Yep, with electric tape Hitler stashes.
Yeah. And then they just walk in and they start rubbing themselves down with suntan lotion and basically go have sex with all the security guards.
Right. So they can go in and steal these crotchy dolls.
Exactly. And then Dave and Dude do that. And then our international celebrity that has shown up for the doll unveiling is dropped off. And of
right.
course, because we can't just have a random celebrity, we also have to make a joke at their expense. We got Vern Troyer here.
Yes, we have to make small people jokes.
Yeah, there's definitely moments where they make small people jokes and Vern fires back, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Usually, I think Dave Foley and Vern Troyer went back and forth for a moment. I think that was my second funny part.
Yeah, that was actually all right. Those two were actually like actors.
Exactly. So Vern Troyer shows up.
Oh, don't forget he gets paid in gold teeth.
That's right, of course, because the Nazi thing, he gets paid in gold teeth. I did forget about that. All those horrible things I blocked out.
No, we gotta talk about them.
And then they basically load up all the dolls, and then Osama shows up. And then all hell starts breaking loose, I believe, at this point at the event.
Oh, yeah, because the creator of the Postal video game shows up. He has a little cameo here.
Which they do, in case you didn't know who that was. They freeze frame, put his name on the screen, and say, this is the guy who invented Postal. And it's very meta. He's like, what did you do to my fucking game? And they start fighting. And there's this crazy shootout, which ends up taking down just so many children.
Oh, yeah.
So many.
That was kind of funny, actually.
It was gratuitous.
Yeah, it was wild.
I think at the end, like, again, there were 2 minutes, like, it was just trying to be shocking. I did appreciate at the end when, not necessarily, I wouldn't say appreciate, but I understand the setup for the joke later when the newscaster's there recounting the whole thing and she's just like, doesn't give a shit about any of these dead kids that are lying around.
Oh, yeah,
They're just there for the story. And I'm like, oh, I see what they did there. At least I got that one.
Yeah, that was commentary.
And then also during this altercation, Vern Troyer gets locked in his suitcase. And this is where I wrote specifically in my notes, holy fuck, we are only at an hour.
Is it really?
We are halfway through.
Well,
and guys, it's not going to get better.
No. Well, we got to make a dildo on a stick joke here because he has that in his fucking luggage just as big as him.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Again, I've tried to... I guess I missed the visual jokes because I was just so mad and writing too many notes. But then there's this huge scramble to get out of the event, and the dude is about to leave, and he sees the lady from the welfare office that denied him on the curb, and then he goes over and slams into her and kills her, and, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, she gets hit by like 3 cars.
And then this is where the aforementioned newscaster comes in, and she has these fake news tears and so many dead kids. Oh, and then she's like disgusted by the smells and
oh yeah, she's like ugh,
leaves. And then Vern Troyer gets super stoned in his suitcase because we have an interior suitcase cam.
Yeah, which is it's lighted by the dildo on a stick.
Is that what lit it? I don't know how I missed this dildo on a stick.
Yeah, dude, it's like as big as his face, and it's the light in the luggage.
I wonder if that's a nod.
I don't know.
Like, is that one of the weapons in Postal?
I bet it is.
I'm not looking it up.
No, me neither. I'm not Googling dildo on a stick.
Yeah, good call. Listeners, probably for the best you don't Google that. Then they get back to Dave's house, but there's a problem there, Chump Slap.
Why? What was it?
Taliban is already there.
Oh my God, they're looking for because they figured they're the ones who stole the crotchies.
I don't remember. I think they saw him driving away or something. I don't remember how they put it together that they were even involved.
Well, Osama heard, probably GW told him that there was another group of people that were going to try to steal the same crotchy dolls.
Yeah, there's a couple calls in between the two of them.
Yeah, I don't know. But they're there. They're there looking.
Yep, they're there looking. The plan then is to sneak into the secret underground compound beneath the house. And I thought it was funny where Dave Foley's like, fucking, what are you talking about? It's like, oh yeah, we have a huge underground doomsday bunker because we're a doomsday cult. And he's like, what? I don't know about any of this.
He's like, did everybody know about this but me?
Yeah, because like the women who come in with them, the sexy Nazis from before.
Right.
They all come in with this group and go into the bunker. And Postal Dude, it is at this point, he's on the news.
Oh yeah, they're blaming him for all the deaths.
Exactly. They're blaming him for everything. So he doesn't know yet. So he's walking down the street. He's on the news.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everyone's like, holy shit, that's the guy. And this starts like if I may, if you'll allow me to so boldly exclaim, Sir Chump Slap.
Right.
A PCUian mob.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Chasing him around town. Except the angry mob from PCU was made up of students that were mostly unarmed.
Right.
Everyone in this group has a gun and is just firing at him.
Yep, it's the whole town's coming after him.
Yep.
Because they even blame him for the female driver that gets shotgunned in the beginning.
Yeah, and it's so like tragic because all these townsfolk are gonna die and they really think they're doing the right thing here.
Yeah, right. They're an angry mob that are like trying to get this guy because they think he's
they think he's a mass murderer. Why wouldn't they be?
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that we should start taking to the streets as a mob with guns and start firing at mass murderers, but
I mean, if there's one right around,
if there's one in my immediate area,
yeah.
I mean. But yeah, so that happens, and then all of a sudden he knocks out a cop. Like, doesn't kill him, just knocks him out, and then switches into the cop's clothes, and then all of a sudden no one recognizes him, which I thought was pretty funny.
that was a good nod.
If that's a nod to just video games in general, it's brilliant. But I think that it was just a dumb mistake.
You think?
I think so. That a dumb mistake that it was a nod to video games.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it was real. I don't know. But then Vern Troyer is back at the bunker hitting on all these women. And I also don't understand why they get to the compound, right? They see the Taliban.
Right.
But then for some reason, Zach Ward leaves them completely, dresses like a cop, and then comes back dressed as the police officer. Why did he leave that group instead of staying with them and infiltrate right away? I don't remember what excuse he had to go like leave.
No, he was getting rid of the truck He was hiding the truck somewhere.
Is that what it is? That would
Yeah,
always make
because
sense.
at the end, he's like, I'm the only one who knows where the truck is.
Oh, that's right. So he gets back, dressed as a cop, and he sneaks into the bedroom past everyone. This is also, this is definitely a nod to the game. This is probably the only thing I know for a fact is a nod to the game. But the cat as the silencer.
Oh, really?
That was definitely in the game. But I think it was the right choice to grab the cat, use it as a silencer, and then put down the cat, and the cat's like shakes it off and runs away.
Yeah, a little smoke comes out of its mouth. He's like, all right.
Yeah, very Lampoonian again.
Yeah.
Good choice there. And then they all sneak past the Taliban and get into the bunker. And this is the scene I was talking about where Dave Foley and Vern Troyer are arguing.
Oh, yeah.
But it also feels like improv. Like, it feels like this is Uwe Boll leaving the camera running and just being like, guys, be funny. And they actually were.
Yeah, probably. He got gold out of him.
I don't mean to say they actually were, as in they're not normally funny, but I got to imagine if you're an actor in a scene, you do the lines, you do like 4 or 5 takes, whatever, you get it in the can, and then the director's like, okay, now for this take, just be funny. Like, if you're not a pro, that's got to be stressful. Like, what do you mean just be funny? Can I get some direction here?
Yeah, right.
But they're like, okay, I'm just going to go crazy. And he's probably like, yeah, whatever. And that part was fun. And then this is where the other shoe drops. And we find out that Richie says that stealing the dolls was not the actual plan, guys.
What, they weren't going to sell them and just pay the IRS?
No, because that's silly. You see, the plan was to end the fucking world. And Richie, he looks like he's really going for it.
Oh, yeah. He's ready for it, man. That's why this bunker was built in the first place, motherfuckers.
Absolutely. They're a doomsday cult. Why wouldn't they have a doomsday bunker, right?
Exactly.
And then we find out another detail that the dolls weren't just dolls.
What?
They were stuffed with vials of the avian bird flu, which I guess was like the hot virus at the time.
Oh, it's coming back big time.
Yeah, like I guess this was post Mad Cow. This was the hot post, like Ebola, then Mad Cow, then this.
Well, the bird flu comes up every couple of years. You know, they keep it in
really does.
The news for everyone.
And then Richie tells the whole gang about it, and he's clearly out of his mind. And he's like, well, you see, Vern Troyer is also part of the plan.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and explain. This is a Chump Slappian sequence if I've ever seen one.
And he's like, what the fuck? I didn't write anything about this in the Bible. And he goes on about how he's read between the lines.
Oh, yeah. He keeps saying like, yeah, you didn't say that in your exact words, but you got to read between the lines like I did.
Yeah.
Like I know what you were actually saying, bro. And he leans on that real hard.
Oh, yeah. Because there's a quote in the Bible that I didn't write down, but it was like a short entertainer will be raped by 1,000 monkeys.
Yeah. And then...
And so it shall be.
So in this underground bunker that has been built, they somehow smuggled in 1,000 monkeys.
Right.
And they open the room, they throw Vern Troyer in, and this whole thing is supposed to be funny.
I guess.
And Dave Foley makes comments, and it goes on too long. It's just fucking stupid. And
yes.
Then we cut to the most natural story here. The Taliban leader, Osama bin Laden, who is not on site there with them, he is attending a leadership seminar at a hotel.
Oh, right. How to get your employees to worship you or whatever.
Yeah, and I gotta say, man, the dude who was like this guy, this figure who was giving the seminar.
Oh, yeah.
He was good. Like, he was really good. He's like, what you gotta do is you gotta start putting some meth in the water cooler. They're going to tell you can't do it, but you can put in a little meth. And I'm like, this guy's fucking wild.
Yeah. I wonder if that's straight from the game, too.
I don't know. I hope it is. But he was saying like wild leadership stuff like that. It was clearly a pastiche, like a joke about these leadership seminars and how these, corporate bosses have devolved into fucking madmen. And that makes sense. I see what he was going for there. Yeah. I don't know if it was perfect, but I thought the guy who delivered it was pretty good.
Well, Osama is there because he can't get his guys to kill themselves. So
yeah, and then at the end of it, his credit card gets declined and he runs out and steals a book.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then that's pretty much the end of this sequence. But Richie, we get back to him. He's still, and at this point, he's still going over the plan in the bunker. It's like we're in the scene where he was explaining, we cut away and we come back and he's still going on.
Right.
And then he's like, well, part of the prophecy is also to kill the leader. And he's like, so I'm going to kill Uncle Dave. But then they make out.
Right.
And Dave realizes he's gay. And everyone is disgusted by this kiss. Like, it's super fucking ridiculous now. But like Richie shoots him because that's how you read the prophecy.
Yeah.
And I just wrote in my notes, that's a shame because Dave Foley was like the best part of this movie.
Right. So at this point, you're like, oh, there's got to be only 10 minutes left, right?
That's what a normal person would think. Yes.
No, there's at least another half hour.
Oh, God damn it. And then they lock up the dude because he talks himself into some kind of technicality. He's like, you said you wouldn't kill me. I wasn't part of the prophecy. And Richie's like, shit, you're right. Okay, we're going to throw you in this room. He uses some C4, blows himself out of the room. And then as he gets out of the room, they're the sexy women. They're there. And they're like, Richie told us to wait here and eat these poison brownies.
Yeah.
And then one of the women was already dead. And he's like, okay, you guys want to eat the brownies? Or do you guys want some guns and we're going to shoot ourselves out of here?
We're going to go take out the Taliban and get the hell out of here.
And then the 4 that are remaining are like, yeah, we're going to ditch these brownies.
Yeah.
Which is silly because then 30 seconds later, 2 of them shoot each other out of jealousy.
Yeah. Well, that was a very controversial scene now, I guess. Just the wording that they use.
Oh, I didn't even write it down. I don't want to know.
No, yeah.
But it wasn't good.
No, they just shoot
This
each
movie,
other chest.
if you
and
take it
head.
at face value, it is a product of 2007.
Oh, a product of Uwe Boll, yes.
A Uwe Boll in 2007, like if you think in your mind how awful that would be, that's what this movie is. And then they get out and the 2 remaining women and Zach Ward bone in the thing, and it was a nice little sequence where like 2 minutes later and he's smoking a cigarette and loading up to get out of there.
Oh, yeah. Got to have that quick sex joke in there.
All these jokes are so fucking hack, even at this point.
Like, seriously. Well, is it supposed to feel like a 90s movie?
They're just lazy, you know?
I don't know. Maybe that's German cinema, man.
Maybe. So then we keep moving on. The whole town is trying to kill the dude, and he's killing everyone. The coffee lady shows up, and she's about to kill him, but he talks her out of it, and then now she's on board. For some reason, they run over a baby, which is supposed to be extremely funny.
Oh, yeah. It has to be.
And then the cops, we go back to the trailer. The cops are now both boning his wife and filming it.
Right.
And like
having
the
a good old
trailers,
time.
yeah, the trailer's literally shaking. And then the dude's like, fuck this. And he attaches the bomb to like the propane tank outside, and he's ready to blow them all up.
Yeah, because he wants to blow up the truck full of crotchies and destroy the bird flu.
Yeah, that's the point of it, but he's like, well, it's right by my trailer, and, 2 birds, 1 stone.
Exactly.
But then what happens after that?
Well, then the Taliban shows up because they figure out they followed him to the truck, I guess. And there's a ginormous shootout with everybody. The whole town is here shooting.
And they're all shooting at the dude.
Shooting at the dude and the barista.
Yep, and they're just hiding behind a car. And
yes.
There's a moment where he comes out and has this whole like faith-saving speech, and he's like, we got to think of something that unites all of us. And then one of the Taliban guys is like, well, we all hate Jews, and he's like, no, no bad things, just happy things. And then they're like, oh, they start dropping their guns, and then they're like, wait, fuck this guy, and they start shooting at him again.
Oh, yep. So they go and hide behind a car again.
I don't think this movie's clever enough to pull this off, because clearly it's supposed to be like a joke. It's supposed to be, satirizing films that just have this broad speech at the end that makes everyone suddenly change their ways and go back to, being a good dude. And I don't think this movie earned this. I think it was a fine joke. It was offensive, sure, but he had a point. Like, he had weight behind it, and I just don't think he earned it in this moment. Like, I don't believe that dude is all of a sudden all into peace and not shooting each other.
No, yeah, he shot a lot of people, killed people for no reason.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's like, no, like, you could argue maybe it was just him trying to save his ass in this moment.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of there.
But it's also a very earnest speech he does.
Yeah.
So whatever. Then Osama calls George Bush in the shootout and says, come pick me up. And George is like, well, I can get you to a field. We can get a helicopter. Maybe. He's like, that's fucking great.
Yeah, helicopter me out of here, G-dubs.
And then for some reason, clearly just for a terrible fucking joke,
Oh, yes.
we cut back to the compound.
Yep, IRS is there, man.
2 nerds in suits show up. They're like, hey, we're the IRS. We're here to go through your books, check everything out. And the Taliban's still there, and they're like, oh, shit, the government's here. So they send out Abdul, and he goes and hugs them, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, buddy, sure, like, yeah.
Well,
like, they're clearly
jihad
like,
too, 'cause
yeah, they're just trying to go with it. They're like, okay, like, they're not trying to be like rude or anything. They're like, whatever. And then
He's hitting a detonator.
they're like, you don't have the vest on. He's like, what? And then explosion.
Yeah, the vest was at the trailer park.
I don't know why the vest was at the trailer park.
It was in the
and
Taliban
detonator-
truck when they showed up.
Oh, okay.
And it blew up.
That's just all right.
Yeah. And then it had to go kill that guy who wrote the book. Because there's like the van blows up and it shoots across town and kills the guy.
Oh, yeah. From the interview?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. There's no reason for that, but
No, not at all. That guy was great.
that guy was great. And then I started getting really lazy with my notes. But at some point, they're escaping. Richie's on the car and they shoot him in the face.
Yeah, just kills him. He's like, I told you, I warned you.
And then there's a moment where dude and the woman are driving away, the coffee lady, and the dog's just in the car. He's like, oh, you made it in the car. I thought that was fucking stupid.
Yeah, that was
but
nice.
considering how stupid the whole movie was, I'm willing to let that go. And then we get some kind of conversation where George Bush talks about nuking some countries.
And China's nuking us back.
Trailer park blows up. George Bush and Osama bin Laden flock together in a field. Nukes blow up in the distance. And thank fucking God this movie's over.
Yep, just mushroom clouds everywhere.
Yeah, that was that's really honestly what happened in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what to like. It was wild.
It was.
It was bad.
It should be a slapper.
If a competent director got behind this and maybe made a couple cuts, it would have easily been a slapper.
Yeah, exactly. It had the contents there. Just, I don't know. Just didn't work.
Like, all the laughs were telegraphed like a million miles away, or they were hack. The only good moments I enjoyed were the Dave Foley, Vern Troyer improv, the Zach Ward, Dave Foley math section, but both of those have nothing to do with the director. But there was another moment, we didn't talk about it, but there was another moment that made me actually laugh out loud.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm not ashamed to say it. There was a sequence, I believe it was at the end, when it was during the shootout and Osama called George.
Right.
And we cut to George, and it's like his like knees down, he's got a golf shot lined up, and he does a chip. And you're like, oh, he's playing golf. And then as he's talking, they pull back and it's a fucking mini golf course. But he's still dressed in full golf attire with a golf cart. And I'm like, that's pretty funny. Like, that was a good sight gag. That was good.
I didn't see that, damn it.
That was the first joke where I'm like, that's kind of funny. I like that, honestly. I mean, look, I don't like any of Uwe Boll's films. I wouldn't say like anywhere near. I wouldn't put that word anywhere near any of his films. But at the same time, to give the guy some credit, he has a passion to make movies, and he fucking did it. He made like a bunch of them. Like, there's how many people just around Hollywood or around New York or around there like, oh, I got an idea for a movie. What is it? You got a script? You got a tree? Oh, I haven't like written it down or anything down yet, but it's here. It's like in my head, you know?
Right.
And they don't do it. And this guy got it done. So I do respect him for his, I don't know, his ability to complete, I guess, his project management. I really like his project management, but the reason this movie is bad is all him. Like, it's all the director. It's you could also say it's ultimately the director, but in this case, it was clearly bad direction, bad editing, bad
But is
script.
the game known for having bad jokes? Like,
I don't know specifically. The only thing I know about Postal is I remember it coming out and Postal 2 back in the day, probably around like sometime after Doom, but before Counter-Strike in that era.
right.
So it was very primitive. It was a shooter, and it was made to be an offensive shooter. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, it was just supposed to be like childish and offensive, or just offensive.
Was it ever like actually sold in stores?
I don't know. 97 top-down shooter.
Isometric top-down shooter, developed by Running with Scissors and published by Ripcord. It got a publisher. There was a version on Dreamcast. I guess, yeah, it's a real game. I thought it was always like, you know, a secret download no one knew about, like the OJ game.
The what? The OJ game?
Yeah, man, the OJ game. Do you remember this? It wasn't like a Flash game, but it was a very primitive game.
No.
Oh, I gotta
Well, you
find
had to
it
go
for you.
shoot some people or what?
It was like several different mini games.
Oh, man. No, I don't know anything about that.
I wonder if there's anything on YouTube about it. Oh man, I'll have to send you a link or something. If anyone out there knows anything about it or has any information, drop it here.
Let us know.
Yeah, definitely let us know. Do you have any final thoughts about it? What did you think? What's the Chump Slap barometer at?
I didn't think it was terrible. I mean, it was a bad movie, but I mean, I liked the idea of it. It's just a terrorist group and a doomsday cult trying to steal Tickle Me Elmos or whatever, you know? and sell them.
I think there was a good movie in here, or at least a serviceable movie somewhere in here.
Yeah.
This is like a movie where if it wasn't independent, if it was made by a studio, this would have been the first cut. The studio would have said, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
They would have hired another director and a whole other team to come in and fix it, and they'd probably go shoot other stuff.
Yeah, it seems like I don't know. Way too many cuts between random scenes and shit, and it
didn't flow well.
No,
it didn't
not
have
at all.
a flow to it. And I feel like which is not necessarily the worst thing you could say about a comedy, that it doesn't have a flow, as long as it's funny, because really the thread through comedies is just the laughter and the jokes you're building.
You're right. If there were actually funny jokes in this would be like a cult classic. It
could be. I think it had the potential. It's just,
yeah.
Like, there were so many moments that were just completely tasteless and completely offensive, for no other reason than to be tasteless and to be offensive and to be shocking. Like, if you're going to do that, like, it's okay. You can be offensive. You can be tasteless. Like, you can push boundaries. That's fine. The joke can't just be the shocking thing.
Or can it?
Well, he made it that way. Like, I think that's why the sequence with the newscaster worked better for me, because it was saying something about the news and how gross it is.
Right.
Again, didn't do a great job of it, but it did, like, the tasteless dead children everywhere. At least there was a reason for that. He tried to make this comment about the news.
Yeah, then there was always like TVs on in the background or something where they're talking about violence in video games that affects the youth.
And how it 100% causes the youth to be violent.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is that's a fun argument that comes up every like decade, where some senators like, the reason these kids are pieces of shit is because the violent video games.
Exactly.
There have been countless studies in the last like 30 years about, is video game violence bad? And there's no conclusive evidence that it causes any violence.
Let me get money for one of those studies, dude.
Yeah, I would gladly. I don't know. You need me to play a game for a while and see if I get angry? Well, I guess that's not a great problem.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, video games do cause very violent reactions.
I mean, if we're going to be honest with ourselves and the listeners here, I'm not perfect. I've broken controllers in frustration. I absolutely have. None recently, but I certainly have in my past. Like,
you ever take one and just twist it?
Yeah, I remember, I think it was a PS3 controller. I don't know if you remember those specifically, but if you pick one up now, they feel light compared to like the PS5.
Right. Yeah, they didn't have vibrate. No, PS2.
They did vibrate, but it was like the spinning thing in each stick.
Yeah.
And I remember playing something and just squeezing it till it broke. and just snapping it in half in my hand. It was awesome. It felt great, but then I was like, oh, fuck, that was $50 or $60 or whatever it was.
It's like, oh, no, I can't play today.
Great. Well, got to run to Walmart and get another thing. They know why I'm there. But overall, I don't... Is this the worst movie we've watched? I don't think it's the worst. No. I think House of the Dead was worse than this.
Yes. The rave.
Yeah. At least in this, for as ridiculous as it was, he did give the characters motivation to do their stuff. Like, he did.
Yeah, and there's actually some decent acting in this too.
That's a good point too. The other one was... that was rough. But it's funny to see, like, they put money into the actors, obviously, and they got good actors. And they did, in sequences, they showed it, and they showed that they were good actors. I mean, J.K. Simmons, I got nothing wrong with his performance. He was only in it for like 2, maybe 3 scenes, but
he's great.
He came in, he fucking crushed it. And I mean, if you're the director, like I said, your job is to get that performance out of the actor, and you have to cut it together and make it convincing. And I don't think he even knows he has to do that. Like, I think he's like, read the line. Okay, say it like a little angrier. Okay, great. Now we're done.
Yeah, we're good. You got it.
So I think it's interesting. You put money in the actors, you get that. They didn't put money into the director. They didn't put money into the screen supervisor or the writers, which one of them was Uwe Boll. So that explains a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it didn't even make any money back.
No, which is not surprising. I mean, Uwe Boll wrote it, and another guy by the name of Brian C. Knight. Get this. He wrote Alone in the Dark and House of the Dead.
Oh, his money launderer friend.
Yeah, this is his only writing credit. Went out with a bang. Once and done. Boom. Nailed it. Don't need to do anything else.
Yeah, fuck it.
Seems like he's found his niche in Hollywood. He's still working. He's working every year. He's first assistant director.
Oh, okay.
So good for him finding a role. You don't need to be the main writer. That's okay. You know what? Not everyone can be a writer.
Not if this was only writing credit.
No. But yeah, I don't know how much else I even want to say about this.
No, it's an experience. I had to turn it on like 3 times before I got through the end of it.
Oh, I subjected my wife to this movie.
I fell asleep twice watching it.
Dude, I was like, I got to watch this movie for the podcast. You do not have to watch this. And she's like, well, let's check the trailer. So we checked the trailer, and it's a good trailer. It was a good cut together trailer. And she's like, this sounds awesome. A crazy guy who like does. And I'm like, it's gonna be terrible. Please, you don't have to be here. She's like, no, I'll watch it. I'm like, okay. And then we watch it, and she's like, holy shit.
I know, right? I was angry at first, but
yeah, I was angry because I'm like, holy fuck, this movie had like 3 finale sequences.
yeah, for real.
like this big moment. I think the moment shouldn't have been a shootout at the amusement park. I think it should have been like a heist.
Yeah, well, there's just shootouts everywhere. I guess that was a thread.
You're right. I mean, shootouts everywhere in the video game, so why it stands to reason why wouldn't they have them all over the movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there was kind of like a little heist. Well, there was a stealth section, but that was it.
Yeah, I wonder if Uwe Boll is making anything these days. Let's take a look at what he's up to today.
Oh my God, I hope it's something good.
Oh, he directed a Marvel movie. No, I'm kidding. He did not direct a Marvel movie. So if you look at his director credits, Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Was there a lot?
There's more than I thought there was. So he really hit his heyday in the early 2000s. That's when he did House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Blood Rain. He did the movie In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale, Postal, Blood Rain 2, Far Cry. I completely forgot there was a Far Cry movie. He did that.
Oh, shit. We're going to have to watch that.
And then in 2009, he directed a movie. I have not seen it yet, but it's called Rampage, not based off the video game.
I think I've seen 2 or 3 Rampages.
I think that was like the movie where everyone's like, okay, this was fine, and everything else was just trash.
I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, they just came out with Rampage President Down in 2016. I shouldn't say just came out.
Yeah.
He is directing a movie called First Shift, coming out in 2024. Follows a New York City police officer along with his rookie partner, Angela, as they have a rough day while living the dangerous and routine job of being a cop in the city.
I want to watch it.
I can't imagine this is going to be a subtle social commentary.
You don't think?
No, I don't. I can't imagine. There's nothing about his fucking filmography has led me to believe that. But you know what? I hope he surprises the shit out of me. I hope everyone's talking about this movie. I hope it's a fucking hit.
Well, who wrote it?
Oh, God, it's going to be him, isn't it?
Written and directed by him.
Oh, God. Well,
It's going to be, it's going to take the world by storm. I can guarantee it.
it was fun to live in that fantasy for a moment where Uwe Boll not only got the funding he wanted, and this was also, we should say, I do give him some props for making video game movies when fucking Hollywood wouldn't touch him.
Yeah, good for him, but
Man, you did.
Hollywood had to step in and say, okay, we'll fucking do it. Just stop.
Yeah, exactly. We're not giving you the rights to fucking anything. We're buying all the video game rights for $1 more than you can afford, and then we're just going to sit on them or make a couple movies.
Yeah.
But, all right, if we got nothing else to say, how about we wrap this up?
Let's get to it.
If they want to send us an email, they being the viewers, or hey, Uwe Boll, if you want to reach out and say what's up, well, we'd love to have you on.
Oh, that'd
Just
be great.
shoot us an email. And where can he send that email to, Sir Chump Slap?
Well, you send that to plottytime@gmail.com, bro. I'll read, respond, and hey, if any fans just want to pretend to be Uwe Boll, I'll respond to that too.
Nice. And what if they want to send us a DM on those super awesome socials we keep hearing about? Where do we do that?
Well, you do that on Instagram.
Yep.
And Threads or something.
Correct. At Plotty Time on both platforms. He nailed it.
I listen.
You haven't heard it 280 fucking times already or anything. But yeah, you can also go to YouTube, like and subscribe there. Really helps us out. We just released last week another React vid for Resident Evil 3. So
Snap.
guys, go check that out if you haven't. That took a long time, so I'd appreciate if you watched it, I don't know, 30, 40 times, and then sent it to all your friends and they watched it 30, 40 times. That would like super help us out.
Make your grandmother watch it.
There you go. That does it for us. So as always, shout out to all those people I shout out all the time. And Luis Guzman. Don't trust Dr. Scientists, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.
Peace.